Today, we're talking about criticism from people who should love you most. If you want to stop feeling not enough, you have to protect yourself from people who don't understand what it's like to walk in your shoes. But here's the thing. I'm not going to tell you a 7-step script of exactly what to say when someone criticizes you, because that's actually not what you need. What you need is to understand the psychology behind why criticism hurts, and the 3 simple steps you can use to use that psychology so that criticism loses its power. And if you do all 3 steps, you're going to start feeling more understood. I know this works because over the past 10 years, I've worked with over 1,000 parents, and Mindset for Parents is all I teach. These are also the 3 steps I used to go from feeling constantly judged and criticized to feeling confident and supported. I'm Jamie Knapp, and welcome to Inner Strength for Parents, where you'll find insights to help you love your life, live your mission, and empower your kids to do the same. Now, before we dive into the 3 steps that will take the power out of criticism, I do just want to let you know that I have a video on the top 3 reasons your house is a mess and how to fix them. If one of the top reasons you are getting criticized is because it's hard to hold everything together when you're raising little people and they're always making messes, then I completely understand. I have absolutely been there. So I made a video to help you out. Just comment below in the comments, give me the video, and I will make sure you get that. Now, for me, one of the things I felt most self-conscious was that my house was a mess. I couldn't keep up on everything. So if you're there, I completely understand. Do check out that video. I think it's going to help a ton. But let's talk about the real reasons that criticism hurts. Reason number 1 is criticism feels like rejection. Let's say you've been taking care of kids all day, feeding them 27 times because they're hungry again, driving them everywhere, taking care of laundry, doing all the things. The end of the day comes home, your spouse walks in the door, the house is a mess. He doesn't even say anything, but the look on his face says it all. They're wondering, what on earth did you do all day? And in that moment, ouch, it hurts because you feel like what you had to offer and you gave 127%, is simply not enough. That their expectation is here and, well, you're hanging out down here. And this person you love the most sees you as not enough. Now, granted, they may or may not even think that, but if that's the message you're getting and that's what you feel, then the rejection hurts so much. Rejection is one of the most difficult emotions for humans to feel, and that is why criticism is so painful. Criticism also implies you're broken. No one can understand what it's like to raise kids unless they've actually done it. I remember the first time my husband was home for a week, within a matter of days, he said, "Honey, I don't know how you do this." He is an amazing husband, and he had no idea what was involved. And that was some of the most beautiful words I had ever heard in my life, because he finally understood what it was that I did all day. But most of us don't get the chance for our spouses to actually see that, to walk a mile in our shoes. And studies show over and over again that both spouses, that wives underestimate what a husband does and that a husband massively underestimates what a wife does. It's just how it goes because we've never walked in each other's shoes and we don't know what it's like. And so it's impossible to really understand and appreciate what the other person is doing. Now, we also look at everyone else and their homes and what we see, and it's really easy to look at ourselves and where we fall short and feel like there's something fundamentally wrong with us because everyone else seems to have it figured out and we just don't. So when someone says something critical, even if it is not super critical, but it just hints at something, then it automatically makes us feel like something is wrong with us because we just can't figure it all out. Reason number 3 that criticism hurts so much is that it triggers personal insecurities and weaknesses. I know I was the kind of person who liked to do everything right. I was a good girl. I wanted to please my parents. I wanted to please my teachers. And I wanted to be the best mom and the best wife on the planet. And so when someone said something that inferred that I wasn't getting an A+ on being a mom, then it tore apart who I was. It tore apart my identity. It made me feel like I was fundamentally flawed. And worst of all, it made me be critical of myself. I started to look inside and think of all the ways I was falling short and all the things I should do better. And truthfully, no one was more critical of me than I was. And even though it felt like everyone was being super critical, when I was really honest with myself, the person who was hardest on me was myself. And when we're hard on ourselves, what that does is it leads us to want to get away from that emotion. Feeling hard on yourself is so yucky feeling, and we don't want to feel that emotion. So we naturally try to get away from it. So if you're trying to go forward and you're trying to be this amazing mom, the star represents everything you believe you should be, and you're trying to move forward, be that person, do all the things, and somebody comes up and says something that implies you're messing up, that implies you're not doing something well, then in that moment, you do go inside and you do start to evaluate yourself and say, wow, I'm really falling short. I'm not succeeding. I'm failing. And all of those feelings feel super awful. We don't want to feel those feelings. And so we have two automatic responses that we tend to do to get rid of those emotions. And the first response is we decide, well, you know what? Maybe I just won't try. Maybe I'm just going to watch something. I'm just going to scroll on my phone for a little bit because I just need a break. I'm just going to scroll on my phone. But the real reason you're doing it is because subconsciously, if you sit and scroll on your phone and then you don't get the laundry done, the reason you didn't get the laundry done is because you scrolled on your phone. That's a legitimate reason. And so you don't have to feel broken. You just recognize, hey, I didn't get it done because I was on my phone. And you know that there's a reason. There's a reason you didn't succeed. So sometimes when we feel like we're failing, we will automatically self-sabotage. We will do things to make it so that, hey, the reason I didn't get it is because I didn't really try. I didn't give it 100%. It's not because I'm broken. It's just because I didn't give it 100%. I chose to do this instead. I chose to do this instead. I chose to not really try. I decided that's not really something that's important to me anyway. And it gives ourselves an excuse. The second thing we do is we decide to shut the person out who is criticizing us. If we can discount them as a person, then we can also discount their advice, their criticism, and their judgment. And so when someone is saying something that is hurtful to us, it's very normal for us to become critical of them and the words they're saying in our head. Because if we can discount them and their words, then their words are no longer legitimate. We don't have to listen to them and we don't have to feel belittled by them. So now that you understand why criticism hurts so much and the psychology behind that, let's talk about the 3 things you can do so that criticism doesn't hurt. The first way you can rise above that criticism so it doesn't impact you so much is to listen for the emotion or fear in the complaint. We get defensive because those words feel like an attack. And so it's very normal for us to just attack back, to say something critical toward them or to discount the truth of what they're saying. However, when we do that, we just end up in a back and forth. It makes it even stronger. They're more critical of us and the problem spirals out of control. What you can do instead is to recognize that every critical comment that someone makes actually has some emotion, some fear, some worry, or some concern behind it. And so when you hear those words, instead of responding, just take a break. Don't worry about if the words are true. Don't worry about if they should be saying it or they shouldn't be saying that. Just ask yourself, what is the fear behind the words? What are they worried about? What are they concerned about? That will take you out of defensive mode and out of reactive mode and put you into a place of curiosity. This will help so much to help you feel like you're not being attacked, but it's also going to give you power to be able to respond in a much more effective way. A lot of times the emotion behind the word is actually fear. Someone loves someone and is worried about something. So sometimes your spouse might actually be worried about you. Sometimes they might be worried about your kids. But either way, their motive in those cases is actually love, even though it feels like criticism and hatred. But when you can step back and see that, it takes so much of the sting out of the criticism. When you can see that their intent or their motivation is actually love mixed with a little bit of fear. Once you've identified what that emotion is, whether it's love or concern or fear, then the second step is to look for a similar fear inside of you. The reason some criticism hurts so much more than others is because it resonates with something inside of us. When that person has that fear or they say something, then whether or not it hurts us depends on if there is something similar resonating inside of us. Let me explain. If someone were to come up to you and say, "You are the worst firefighter on the planet. I have never seen a firefighter worse than you." Would that hurt? No, unless you're a firefighter. The reason is because if you're not a firefighter, you know there's absolutely no truth in it. And there's nothing inside of you that asks yourself, maybe they're right. Maybe I am a terrible firefighter. No, you go, you're crazy. What is that? That's why some criticism hurts and some doesn't. If there's something inside of you that wonders if what they say is true, or if there's an emotion inside of them that's also inside of you and the two resonate, then that criticism is really going to hurt. If there's nothing inside of you and it doesn't resonate with anything, you'll just let it blow past you and it won't even bother you. So if the criticism hurt, then you can know that the reason it hurt is because there is something inside of you that it is resonating with. And so that brings us to step number 3, and that is to adjust for you if appropriate. Now, does this mean that you are responsible to adjust every time someone criticizes you? No. All I am saying is that if the criticism hurts, it's because you also have some similar concerns or worries inside of you. So ask yourself, is this something that I'm concerned about too? And if you are, is there something I could adjust to improve this? Now, does it mean you have to be perfect by tomorrow? No. But is there a small adjustment that you could make? Because here's the secret, my friend. The secret sauce of this is that you don't have to be perfect to not feel down on yourself. You just have to be making progress. So if you know, hey, I recognize that I really am worried about my child too, and I'm worried about my relationship with them too. I'm worried that I'm being critical towards them too. Whatever it is, if you recognize, hey, there's some truth here, and then you look at where you are, where you want to be, and say, hey, I'm going to make this tiny adjustment. It's not going to get me all the way there, but it's the first step. Then next time someone criticizes you, you can say, yes, I recognize that there's something there, and I'm making progress. I'm going to get there. I'm not worried about it. And suddenly the criticism loses its power. Now, sometimes maybe there's no truth there. Maybe you're not a firefighter. If that's the case, recognize for what it is. Recognize that the criticism is more about the other person than it is about you, and just let it go. But when you step back, you evaluate the situation and ask yourself, is there something inside of me that has the same fear? And then you decide, is there an action I need to take or is there not? Then next time that criticism comes, it loses its power. And you're going to find that not only are you less reactive and less defensive to the people around you, but you absolutely feel more confident about yourself. You feel like you're moving forward. You feel like you are competent and you know you're going to get where you need to be. Now, once again, if you feel like some of that criticism is coming because there's just too much on your plate, be sure to check out that video, the top 3 reasons your house is a mess and what to do about it. I break down the real reasons your house is a mess, just like we talked about the psychology today, as well as simple things you can do to change that, to take that overwhelm off your plate. So just comment below, give me the video, and I will send it to you so that you can watch it. And hopefully it does for you what it did for me and takes so much pressure off your plate so that you can feel better and more confident about who you are and where you are going as you raise incredible kids. Now, if you're like me, criticism hurts 100 times more 1 week of the month. So if PMS is an issue for you, be sure to check out this video where I'll be talking about how to survive PMS as a mom.